YouTube, it's Brian Phillips. Look at this. We've got something all new for you. And you're like, no, it's not. We've already seen that. Give me the thing. The thing. It's right here. We're flying on a China Hobby Line pack, 6,000 milliamp hour, 70C. It's windy. Show them the windsock. Amazing. Huge. AS3X Plus on this thing. And yes, we have the wind blowing toward us, so I'm gonna just show you one feature I really like about this plane is gonna be reverse thrust. I'm gonna do that right now, reverse thrust. Not pilot fatigue, 70C pack from China, Hobby Line. Okay, forward thrust, and here we go, take off flaps. In the power. Oh yeah! Whoa, you just flew through the cherry, Brian. You're darn tootin' I did. Okay, camera crew, you and I are gonna come back over here. And you're probably thinking to yourself, what do you mean the cherry, Brian? The cherry that used to be at the end of the runway? Camera crew, you out of the way? Mm-hmm. Wow! That thing is cruising. Back. Perfect. Take off flaps. Just cruising, landing flaps. 40, 50, 60, 70%. Take off flaps now. Oh, that is gorgeous. Hard on the throttle. Lots of overcorrection on the roll axis. Excuse me, man, the ups are really good with this pack, guys. I gotta say, 70C pack. Sounds amazing. Love the gold. You hear a scream? Mm-hmm. Definitely a little bit of overcorrection. We're gonna back that off just a little bit. Guys, windier than we've probably ever flown this plane. Hard on the throttle. Inside pass. Good. A little bit of roll here. And yes, we are definitely not square with the wind either. And with the wind, we're gonna take this hard pass. Here we go. Man, that is fast. Okay, so take off flaps, sliding flaps. Let's slow down, gear coming out. Look at that thing slow down. Amazing performance from the Avanti 90 and China. Okay, there it is, guys. So all I've got to say is we have lots of juice left. I'm just taking a break so I can show you over here our telemetry. Okay, so the telemetry is 23.8 volts. We should be good. We also have a Predator voltage alarm on top of that. We're just gonna back taxi into position, back taxi in the controllable mode, not pilot fatigue. That was pilot fatigue you just saw. Just a little bit of downward pressure on the elevator. Kind of keep that nose down. I just want to show you how quick I can get this thing off the ground, guys. Look at this, this is amazing. Guys, loving it. Okay, forward thrust now. Take off flaps deployed. Little kiss of throttle. Okay, here we go. You guys ready? Here it goes. Full throttle. Barely any corrections. Look at the gear. Oh yeah! Gear just getting up. So cool. That was a line. Oh yeah, so good. Listen. Love it, folks. Love it, folks. China, you've given us something good. Thank you. We like it. Sorry for the blue skies, everybody. You camera crew. Also, another pass out of throttle. Around the trees, okay? Mm-hmm. A little bit of throttle. Through the trees. Inside pass. Guys, the Avanti, it's something else. It's really fun. I like it a lot. Take off flaps, gear. With the wind, it likes to waggle. Landing flaps coming out. Low on throttle, about 10, 15%. Hitting this low point, not the tree, the low point, Brian. A little bit of throttle. Yeah, baby. Oh, yeah. So good. So good, guys. So I just want to talk about something. Pilot fatigue is very energetic. It takes a lot of power. We didn't have a peep of problems from these packs. Now, admittedly, it's brand new. It's the first time it's ever flown. But let's see if we can get another flight out of it. We're at 23.1 volts. Okay. Takeoff flaps back. And we're gonna go reverse thrust this time, controllable reverse thrust. We'll see if this thing starts chiming at us. It hasn't started chiming yet. Haven't heard even a single warning, okay?
Are we gonna hear the voltage alarm?
We're not necessarily gonna hear the voltage alarm, but we also have telemetry.
Right.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go around probably 1 sorties this time, and we have takeoff flaps, deployed throttle cuts on, throttle cuts off. Here we go. You ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
Takeoff. Gear up. Oh man, that's gorgeous. Look at that, right through the hole. Oh yeah, the way we like it. Staying in the throttle the whole time this time. We're just gonna chew this pack. Still on 100% throttle, guys. Look, it's pegged, okay? Still pegged. Still pegged. You gotta be kidding me. Out of the throttle altogether. Landing flaps on the way downhill. Out of the flaps, into the flaps. Takeoff flaps. Here comes the gear. Okay, we're gonna take a different line this time.
Okay.
No, we're gonna go the same line. It's been a good line.
Okay.
Let's just take advantage. Hard on the throttle. Get it here, Brian. Watch that shadow. Relax, relax. Oh yeah! Oh yes! Okay, there it is, guys. I just want to talk about something for a second. I am still at 22.6 volts. That is crazy. Do you realize I was in throttle from the takeoff?
Yeah.
I full throttled all the way up, all the way down, all the way through and around. That is the longest I've ever been in throttle on an EDF jet. I think ever. So that's really good. So I got some things to say about this. Now, let's just go ahead and back taxi it and be really mean to our pack. Guys, we're trying to be mean on purpose. And yeah, that was the worst landing so far, but it was just like, I was really stretching it out because, you know, with this headwind, it's been perfect for landings. And with that cherry being gone, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Love it. Man, I love the sound of this jet. 90 millimeters of pure delight, guys. So now all I got to say about this China, I still don't hear a beep. I don't hear anything. Oh, this is risky. Camera crew, what do you think?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Gear up. Tight through the hole. Oh, yes.
You're just gonna go around and land?
I'm still 100% throttle. Haven't even heard a chime. No critically low alarm, no nothing. Here we go. Out of the throttle on the way down, down the pike. I love the shadow there. Okay, takeoff flaps, landing flaps. We're getting into it kind of hard. Takeoff flaps down, gear coming out. Flying it, okay, full landing flaps. A little bit of throttle, get it where we need it. Get it where we need it. Watch the rate of descent. That's what I'm arresting. Reverse thrust, pilot fatigue, and full up elevator. A little bit of jank. And guys, I got to say, absolutely beautiful and out of pilot fatigue. We'll just bring this thing right back to us. What an absolute joy it is to fly this plane, okay? Now that's 6,000 and we're still at 22.4 volts. I feel like this is a little bit better than 3 minutes. That's 520 on top of 3. Granted, there's been time on the ground, but for everything we made up with being on the ground, we took away from being hard on throttle. This is crazy. I want to see what the battery looks like if it caught on fire.
If it smokes when we take it.
And I gotta say, actually what we're gonna do is we're gonna hook in, okay? I'm gonna hook in. So just remember about 8-minute flight time.
Okay.
8-minute flight time is a long flight time. Throttle cut is on, okay? AS3X Plus is phenomenal. You'll notice that we have shifty winds. It's like this, guys, favoring that way to here. And this thing stays rock solid. Even on my crap landing, the thing pretty much goes straight down the runway. It's me, okay? This is so good. I love it. Okay, so let's take this thing inside. We're not gonna do any shoddy, weird camera work. We're just gonna let you guys walk with us, okay? Camera crew and I are gonna walk straight into the table. We're gonna take the battery out and we're gonna show you what it looks like. And then we'll probably come right back out and put the 5,000 in and see what type of flight time we get. Now keep in mind, we're used to flying With a 5000 6S, this is a 6000 6S. So it is bigger and it's a higher C rating. Although I can say we were flying on 100 Cs and 50 C packs. Okay, so down you go. Let's see what we got with the XBC battery checker. Okay. So here we go. Look at that monstrosity. The thing is gigantic. Touch it.
Is it warm?
It's warm.
Yeah, it's warm.
But it's not anything crazy.
No.
Not for that type of flying. Yeah, it's a little toasty. Okay, so let's unplug this thing. Okay. All right, so now that that's unplugged, I'm gonna go ahead and undo it. You can see I marked it. We did show this in our unbox build radio setup portion of this video, which incidentally is not really an unbox build radio setup, it's just an unbox. Yeah. But we'll talk about all the details if you guys stay tuned after the 2 flights. We're gonna try to do 2 flights. And hopefully it's not like 2 flights plus crash recovery.
Oh, don't say that.
Look at that. The thing is just in there. It's perfect.
Yeah.
Also, look. See, now we've got no data from the flight pack. How are we at 3.7? That's crazy. That's like almost 8 minutes of flight time. Okay, so just to give you guys an example, I think this is the new one we were using. Okay, so 5050C. I think this is what we used previously. Okay, we were getting 3 minutes and I was coming back with time to spare, admittedly, but we did that on purpose. Now, I did not feel like I lost hardly an ounce of anything, with the exception of there was a little bit of tail waggle, which is a correction factor that I could make in AS3X Plus, okay? So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna take this 5000, which happens to have, instead of EC5, it's got the XT90, so I have to do an adapter. So this is 70C as well. This one is gonna be the next size up, okay? Still 6S, but I just want you guys to see the difference in size and shape. This is a weird size, but I am very happy with the way that worked. Very happy. So we're gonna do the exact same test we did before. The only difference is, and we do have telemetry on this, obviously, via the AR, what do we do, the 8360T?
Yes, I think so.
Kind of hard to tell as it's upside down. Yeah, it's an 8360T. Okay, so now this one, I'm gonna probably put it just like where we put the Smart Pack. And just for posterity reasons, it's gotta be super close on weight. So let's go ahead and plop it in there. If you guys are brand new to Brian Phillips RC, what we do predominantly is fixed wing airplanes. And so this is right up our alley, of course, but we did talk about, we threw out some details on a remote ID module. If you want a remote ID module, we have 2 that are available now that we have talked about. One of which is a Spectrum Sky module, which is nice because you can hook that up to your receiver, steal power, do what you need to do for your setups. And you can also get GPS and some telemetry data back. But in my case, I don't need or care about any of that crap. And I don't need or care about the, okay, so we've got the set to 3.3. We'll see if that thing chimes. I'm just gonna stick that down there so it's kind of the same exact setup. Now this time I am gonna go ahead and move my lanyard out of the way. I'm gonna clear that warning. I'm gonna leave it at 3, make sure it's cleared, throttle cuts on, the gear switch is in the right condition. But I am not worried about a remote ID for me, but I know some of you guys fly in areas where you kind of have to deal with that, and you've got Karens that live close by, and so you just have to deal with Karens. The biggest Karen I have in my world is filming for me. Well, I meant because I'm in the country. And only if I did something wrong.
Not what you meant.
That's not what I meant.
Not what you meant.
Sorry, I'm in trouble now.
Pay for that later.
So, but anyway, what we're gonna do is, before I pay for that later, let's check the CG on this. We did check the CG earlier in the unbox on the 7000, and I had it stuffed all the way in the back. Camera crew, tell me.
You're on it. Yes.
Okay,
Both.
front hole.
Front.
Tail heavy, back hole, close enough. So this is actually a better CG. That's gonna push you into more of a nose heavy. Unless you wanna really cram it back there, you'll kind of be compressing your air inlets. Remember, these are active air inlets. So when you do that, you gotta be kind of careful. You don't wanna make a legit hole in there, okay? If you do make a hole in it, cover it with tape, okay? So that it at least still acts as an air inlet and you don't interrupt that airflow. All right, so we're gonna run outside. We'll be right back when we're set. Okay, so we got the 5000 70C China hobby line. in the Avanti 90. Ready? Here we go. Throttle cuts off, takeoff flaps deployed, wheels just over the lip of the runway, and we got a big gust of wind. Here we go. Gear up. Oh, very eager with that 5,000. Oh, look at the ups. Considerably faster. Oh, yes. Takeoff flaps now. Man, that thing is eager. I know what it is. We were just probably like pretty nose heavy. Little and nose heavy. And nose heavy. Guys, I gotta say the Avanti is something. It is a fun plane to fly. Easy to fly. Gear coming down. Takeoff flaps already deployed. Bring it in here. Right. Okay, full landing flaps now. Right as we cross, looking for the threshold, the shadow. There it is. A little bit of throttle, a little bit of throttle. Whoa. Missed landing approach. Oh man, I misjudged it. That was dumb. Janking it up. Oh, look at those ups. Glorious. Okay, we're gonna go right down the runway this time. Full speed. High throttle. Good. Man, that thing is cruising. Janked it. And the AS3X was fighting me on that, but that's okay because it worked really good to keep it under control. Full landing flaps, and here comes the gear. Just trying to hit this low point without hitting that one that's right over the top. You know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. Okay, here we go, about 20% throttle. Look at. Wow, grass ops! Accidental grass ops, guys. But the thing is, this plane is surprisingly easy to fly. Okay, since we've already done other things, we're already at 1 minute and 5 from our countdown. Takeoff flaps, we've already had 2 takeoffs, right?
Well, one on this battery.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, so full throttle, here we go. Look at that, guys. That was a short field ops, and we got up, no problem at all. You ready? Down the runway. Man, that is crispy. Guys, we wish we had some clouds today because this thing is looking absolutely phenomenal. Okay, landing flaps now. You want to do a slow pass?
Yeah, sure.
Or landing? Let's do landing.
Okay.
Gear coming out. A little bit of throttle. A little bit of throttle. A little bit. Whoa! That was close. Ah! Gear! Okay. I accidentally started to retract the gear. Let's go figure out what's going on. I accidentally pulled the gear switch. I have my gear technically retracted right now. If this ever happens, it can damage your stuff, so you got to get it quick. That was a huge pilot error, okay? But you see what happened? I just need to cycle my gear quick, okay? See what I did? Woo! That was close. Guys, talk about long, like that is some strong landing gear. I had those things collapsing as I was landing. Not a good idea. Okay, opening them back up.
Looks okay.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
Okay. Woo, that was close. Okay, for the sake of the battery, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead. We did grass ops.
Yeah, are you gonna take off from here?
Do you think so?
Ooh.
Or is that too tight? Let's do reverse thrust back a little bit.
A little bit.
This thing is definitely a little bit more bouncy.
Just because it's lighter?
Yep, exactly. Okay, forward thrust now. You ready, guys? Mm-hmm. Here we go. She's alive. Gear going up.
Gosh, you got more trees down there to worry about now.
I know, that's right. Okay, we're gonna try cruising back the exact same path we came from. Yeah, that sounds like a real jet. You good? Mm-hmm. That thing is moving fast. Oh, yes! Man, it is getting tossed up there, guys. Inside, you good?
Yep.
Man, this thing is 5,000 is the way to do it, folks. 5,000 6S China Hobby line. Very good performance, very fun. Now I just got to try to get a landing without screwing things up again. Okay, here we got full landing flaps. And camera crew and I are just getting back in position. Look at the turbulence over those trees. Watch my rate of descent, Brian. There it is. Control the rate of descent with throttle bursts. There it is. And then pilot fatigue, but I keep getting nasty bounces, guys. Okay, out of pilot fatigue. So let's talk about this for a second. Have you noticed the crazy bounce I keep getting there? I don't know what I'm doing different, but I'll tell you what, that lighter pack is making this thing Johnny on the spot in the air. Really excited. Camera crew is going to move back about 30 steps that way, and I'm going to probably take back off because guess what? We can do that when we have enough juice left. If we do have juice left, it's amazing. And yes, we are getting crosswind, confused winds.
That's probably not helping your bounce at the end.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, definitely not. Definitely not. Okay, clean takeoff. No flaps. Gear up. Going through the hole. Love seeing those gear going up. Let's do a nice little roll here. Yank it back down. Through the trees, right at us, and then inside. Full throttle. Love the gold. Hated the gold when we unboxed it. Got some motorcycles over here. Let's distract them. Just kidding. We shouldn't do that. That'd be dangerous. I guarantee you they're watching. Jeez, that is fast. So guys, normally I don't really care how fast the plane is, but I gotta say it's pretty dang impressive on this plane. Okay, so gear coming out, we're gonna try another landing. And part of the reason we keep pushing the landings is that it's such a battery suck in jets. Takeoffs and landings, especially when you do thrust reverse like I do. Watch your rate of descent, Brian. Control your rate of descent. Control your rate of descent. There it is. Yes! Finally, I greased it in again.
That was good.
Gotta say, okay, out of pilot fatigue. Let's talk about this for a second. We are at 4 minutes and 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, past 3. So we're at 7 minutes. And where does that put us on voltage on our 5,000 milliamp hour pack? Let's check it out. Right here, we're at 22.3. So I think one more takeoff and landing, we'll be pushing it. We're probably gonna hit our low voltage alarm if we go any further. We're out of the flaps now. We're in reverse thrust. Pilot fatigue is not on. If you guys don't know how to set up pilot fatigue, you like reverse thrust, and you like this Avanti, all you have to do is look no further than the links in the video description below. Getting pushed off course by the wind. It is pushing hard. I'm having to actively pilot this thing backward, which is a little bit unusual. And I wanna try something different. I wanna go, okay, here we go. Takeoff flaps. I'm gonna go into landing flaps on takeoff. Now landing flaps, here. Oh, that was cool, out of the flaps altogether. Ooh, sounds like it's waning.
Okay.
But it's not, it's really not. I just think it's the sound of the wind carrying away that EDF. Okay, so takeoff flaps, landing flaps, and gear. Probably back to takeoff flaps for just a quick second. Now back to landing flaps. Letting out of the throttle just a little bit. Get that thing to descend. Control your rate of descent with your throttle, little pulses, and then throttle. Oh no! We're still alive. 22.0 volts. Are you kidding me? This thing is going forever. Crazy. I feel like I've got the Energizer Bunny in there. So, all right, in closing, because we got to wrap this up some year. Here's the thing. China, hobby line. China, hobby line. Huge. Probably a good choice for those of you that are gonna pound your packs like I do. And if you wanna buy one from the links in the video description below, you'll help support Brian Phillips RC. So do that. Also, we have put in a much larger pack with a 6000, but they're both 70C packs. We were flying on 50Cs with the Spectrum, so it's it's an appreciable difference if the ratings are real, but C ratings are always, I don't ever trust them as far as I can throw them. But I gotta say, I can throw that thing really far because it is beautiful. Yeah. It's got lots of power. So I'm really, really, really happy with not only the performance of the Avanti 90, it has been a surprise hit in my world. I was not excited when I found out about it. I mean, I was kind of glad to see it was like a 90, which is cool, but I was thinking, nothing special. Right. But then we opened it up and it had this weird gold on it. I'm like, lame. Then I got it out and I watched it fly in a sunset. And I said, Holy cow, that's why they did that thing. Because seeing it go through and change the light and the direction that the light's hitting it makes it look totally sweet. And I have a new found appreciation for Goldmember. So anyway, that's all I've got to say. Brian Phillips is gonna sign out now. We're gonna go do some other things. And we're gonna go charge these new batteries so they're ready the next time I'm ready to rock and roll with this Avanti 90 from FMS. So China hobby line, good battery, definitely worth a look, or at least a first look. If you've never bought one before, check out the links in the video description below. Same thing with the plane. And then we use an 8360T. We did AS3X Plus on this plane. I do feel like the yaw is a little bit overcorrecty right now. I could turn that down with my master knob, but I want to keep the gains up on everything else, so I would have to go into Ford programming and adjust the yaw rate down just a hair. But I gotta say, the thing feels rock solid on landings, and the only reason I got knocked off course is because we are talking about some pretty drastic change in wind conditions. We're going like this, hard wind right now. Well, not hard, but it's probably another 10 miles an hour more.
It's gusty though right now.
And that AS3X Plus, once you get that nose wheel in command of the aircraft, it is just straight as an arrow. It takes the stress from like here and it puts it down to where it's like manageable for me.
Yeah.
So definitely an awesome feature. And then I gotta say, one of the first Predator ESCs that actually works the way it's supposed to.
Yes.
We don't know why the other ones don't work. I'm not sure what the deal is, but I gotta say, look at the way that gold changes colors as it goes through. Oh, it's so gorgeous. I love it, okay? And then also the retracts, you guys saw it. I made this stupid, foolish maneuver of accidentally running to retracts while I was on the ground. I don't know what the heck I was thinking, but those things stood up like champions. So we all make mistakes in this hobby. It's a hobby for a reason. It's not like it's a profession. We just do this because we love it. It's so much fun. And it's, when you're into aviation, it's like the core of your essence to be able to enjoy and appreciate this hobby. And so if you want to do it, but you can't because of some stupid Karen that's in the neighborhood, all you got to do is check out, we'll put the links for the Ruko, which is another option for remote ID if you need it. I feel sorry for you if you do, but at the same time, it is something that we may need on our own when we go to certain sites. And so we're going to have that. And then we're going to have the Spectrum Sky as well as an option, an alternative. Okay, so we hope we answered a couple of different technical challenges for you today, in this being what we could call a second thoughts, but it's really not a second thoughts for the Avanti S in the 90mm 18th anniversary finish. But what it is instead is just answering a couple of lingering questions that we've had. And to be honest with you, there are times when we have questions. It's not always generated from the audience, although the audience has asked our opinion of China hobby line packs before, CNHL. If you don't know what they are, it's just another Chinese brand of stuff, and we'll offer it. We'll have links, and if you follow those links, you'll be supporting Brian Phillips RC.
They're gonna land over there, not on our pond.
Yeah, which is fine. They can go crap over there.
They do have a wide assortment.
Yes.
And they also have lots of different ends. Or if you do a lot of cars, they have, you know, like the Dean's connectors and all those different styles.
It's not just fixed wing airplanes.
Right.
Yeah. And they have hard packs too, right?
Yes, I believe so.
So all I would say is just check out the link, see if there's something that meets your fancy. And I am not trying to talk you out of smart packs. I still have the vast majority of my packs are going to be smart packs because I can't babysit them. And if I have a handful of high volt packs that come in the near future, then we'll be working those into the curve too. But the truth is, I just don't like having a $150 battery that gets destroyed on one flight. I'm not cool with that. And there are batteries that we have done that with.
Yeah.
Okay. And I can think of the F-1880 was a battery killer. Oh my goodness. We should revisit that with one of these China batteries. And then I can think of the twin 1564mm F-15 from Arrows. Oh my goodness. That was a battery killer like I've never seen. Also, admittedly, the MiG-27 and the SU-27 and the MiG
J11.
J11, thank you. So both of those, same power system, by the way, twin 70 EDFs. Surprisingly not the battery chewer that the twin 64 was in the F-15, which is considerably smaller plane, but there's just something about the KV to amp draw in ESC combo that just didn't work out as good. And they're both FMS products. So, you know, Arrows is made by FMS, and Arrows brand is sort of like non-existent now, but they still do technically exist. So if you want an aeroplane, we have links to all of them. You can support Brian Phillips RC by buying those from our links. And the same is true from this all the way up to and including all the E-flite offerings that we've mentioned in the same video, okay?
And it's the
Except
same,
for, I don't even know if you can get the 80 millimeter F-18. I don't think you can. I think it's discontinued right now.
But it's the same thing with airplanes. Everybody has a budget. Everybody has a need and requirements.
Yes.
So the China Hobby line is just another
It's another offering.
option.
It's probably going to be considerably cheaper. Sometimes half, sometimes a third less. Sometimes they're going to be even better. It just depends on the battery, okay? And the other thing too is, if you need a battery and the one you need is out of stock, then this gives you another offering that might get you into stock.
Yeah.
So just keep in mind, we're all about trying to bring stuff that's going to be actionable for you. And that doesn't always mean that this is a solution for you, okay? So we're not just here trying to sell batteries. We don't really care which battery you get. We just want you guys to know that they exist,
Yep.
okay? So in pursuit of growing and expanding our hobby as much as possible, we want to give people options to fill the holes in their needs, okay? Not the least of which is stupid remote IDs that everybody doesn't really want.
Yep.
And then batteries that, to be honest with you, to me, batteries are like, I'm glad that they're good and they're getting better, but I really don't want to spend my money on batteries. I want to spend my money on planes. I want to spend my money on helicopters. I want to spend my money on e-bikes. Just kidding, guys. I know it's a funny joke. It was a funny joke. But at the end of the day, batteries are kind of like, you know, tires on the family car. Yeah. Like, I want them to be as good as possible, but you know, it's tires.
Yeah.
I don't really care. I just want them to work. I don't know if you're the same way. If you are, leave it in the comments below. If you're vastly different and you just like go into all the techno, which is ironic because I'm constantly talking about batteries on our channel. But the truth is there's two safety issues in this channel. We talk about props, cutting people's hands and other orifices. And yeah, I know. And batteries. Just be careful, do the best you can. Smart batteries are still gonna give you an edge over China Hobby line. You know why? Because they got a battery management circuit. I'm still waiting for some super intelligent person that's really good with electronics to come up with a battery plug thing that I can plug all my batteries in and it will actively manage them for me, whether it's smart or otherwise. And then instead of having to depend on a smart battery to discharge, I would then use that power to go back into my charger bank or to my house or to run my bathroom ceiling fan or whatever it happens to be. I'm just spitballing here. But the idea is we have huge batteries that run our house and we have huge solar panels that charge the batteries. That is a smart win-win thing to do if you need power and your rule and you have power outages like 2 or 3 times a month for no apparent reason.
Yeah.
Okay. That's why we did that, just so you know. But we charge our batteries more than the average bear because we think we're going to be doing production and then we get winded out or we get rained out or we get busied out or we get, you know, something comes up. Okay. So we got a ton of batteries just sitting there charged all the time. It's hard on the batteries and it's a waste of energy. I want to use that energy to do something. So when that smart person comes up with that brilliant plan, let me know about it. I'm gonna start doing some investigation and maybe we'll do a review on it. Or I'll design something.
So your free time.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. All right, guys, that's all we got for you. The rest of this video is gonna consist of unboxed portion. And we'll probably answer a few more questions, technically speaking, on the way to that end. And so we really appreciate you being here with us. Real quick update over there. You'll notice that there is not a bunch of dirt work going on yet. Our excavator is delayed by about a week and a half from what our original plan was, which was right at the midpoint of October 2024. And so we're going to be doing that like the 22nd or 23rd, I think is when it's starting. So it's coming up sometime this week or so. And sometimes when we film these videos, they're filmed a little bit in advance and sometimes they're right up to the wire. So this one's pretty close to when you're going to be seeing it. And so if you're following along and you're like, hey, when is the damn gift shop going to be there? I've been looking for the damn gift shop for years. Well, so have we. Although if you've been looking for years, you must add your fortune teller working for you.
4 years ago, we got 9 inches of snow today.
You're kidding me.
I am not.
That's disgusting.
2020, it all was crappy.
Wow, that's crazy. So, but yeah, guys, at the end of the day, we love doing this. We love building the aerodrome that we're putting together today, or not today, but in the process of our experience.
Yep.
We're so glad that you're here with us. We're so glad that you're supporting Brian Phillips RC. And you can do that by just watching the whole video. You can do that by smashing the like button, clicking the bell for notifications when you do subscribe. so you know about the new content. You can also head over to brianphillipsrc.com or bprc.me if you don't know how to spell. bprc.me is our short link for the brianphillipsrc.com. Same place, just redirects you to the thing. And if you go there, we have our comparison tools that help you to sort by type, which is huge. So like if you think about this plane and you think, hey, I want to see that, but what about that Viper? What about that Viper 90? Very good comparison, very good option, okay? Check it out. You can see our in-depth analysis of each and every plane that we've done over the history of time here on YouTube. If you can't find it on Brian Phillips RC, just go to the playlist and search by playlist. But the playlist utility on YouTube is garbage, okay? It's very hard to find what you need on the playlist utility. Yes. We as creators have additional tools and we still have trouble finding stuff.
Search very generically.
Yes, very generically. And then if you type, you know, like generic specifics don't even work.
Right.
So
just type Viper.
Yeah, Viper, yeah.
Or Avanti.
So, and if you can't find it, brianphillipsrc.com will assuage you of that issue, okay? Other ways to support us, PayPal, one-time donations, YouTube, super thanks, one-time donations, YouTube members and Patreon members are both monthly supports. And we appreciate all of those, but at the end of the day, the best thing you do to support the hobby, to support Brian Phillips RC and the things we do for the hobby, which is just this little teeny, tiny slice of the pie, would be buy amazing airplanes. But when you do decide to buy it from a link that we provide in the video description below. Then the manufacturer will know that we sent you there and they'll give us a little pat on the back with some commission. And that's how we fund this crap, in case you were wondering.
Yep.
Family of 6, we got 4 kids. Yeah, they're getting bigger and more expensive, I noticed.
Yeah.
But if you guys have that same problem, leave us a thumbs up to indicate that your kids are expensive to feed. All right, that's all you get. Stay tuned. Unbox portion next. YouTube, it's Brian Phillips. We've got a box to open, and it's right here. Look at this. Amazing. Opening it. Foam. It's not to protect the foam from foam. Oh. It's to protect the explosive fire-breathing dragons that are batteries. Okay, guys, if you're brand new to Brian Phillips RC, we do RC airplanes, mostly fixed wing, a lot of helicopters, some quads, VTOLs, all sorts of stuff. But every single one of those things requires a battery. Pretty much, in general, we do electric, okay? There are every once in a while some deviations from that principle, but in this case, there's gonna be very limited number of those. And so we're gonna show you another option, okay? So as you know, we like the Avanti 90, it's very cool. And we also usually fly our planes on something like this, which would be a beautiful 4,000 or 5,000 or 6,000 or 7,000, 50C, 100C, 30C Smart Pack. We've had pretty good luck with them, and we generally do have good luck with them until they eventually start to look like this because yours truly crashes them into the ground or does some stupid thing, and then they no longer look like this nice, crispy, squared off edges, okay? Now, part of the reason for that is because jets tend to be battery chewers, okay? We're gonna demonstrate a flight today with these China Hobby line batteries, so CNHL, if you guys have seen them before, and we're gonna see if it works in the Avanti. As you can see, it's slightly windy today, so we had to pick a plane that will tolerate some wind, and we wanted to just show you how these come out of the package, as well as one other feature that has nothing to do with China, but everything to do with lack of freedom. And that is the Ruko charger. This is actually something you can put in your AC plug, and then you can get some good juice out. We're showing you this in tandem with this because when we agreed to do this, they sent this thing and said, hey, can you talk about this? And I'm like, whatever, I don't care. It's like dime a dozen,
and we've been using that thing a bunch, actually.
We've been using it a bunch because it's a 65 watt adapter, which is nice because most of them are considerably less wattage, but you also have USB-C outputs 1 and 2, as well as USB-A. We use USB-A out to our, whatever device it is, usually my wife's camera, and our mics have USB-C plugs, and so of course it covers both. So what is this thing and why do you care about it? This is the R111. It's one of the cheapest and one of the lighter remote ID modules. I know most of you are thinking, oh, here we go again, another remote ID module. Nobody wants to know about it, Brian, because nobody wants to do it. I get it. I hear what you're saying. I can definitely get what you're laying down here. I've taped over my ID number. There's a QR code. It has basically the ID for this. They have an app you can get, and basically you turn it on with this button, and then there's this little button here. You press and hold it and do different things. It's not that big a deal. You basically turn it on, and then you throw it into the plane. Oh, that did miss the garbage disposal. I meant the plane, not the garbage disposal. So if you want to be compliant, you can use something like this. Now, if you decide not to use something like this, I totally get it, because we have reviewed another offering, but it is, just to be clear, considerably more expensive. But it's the Sky module from Spectrum. The reason I like this better is because you get the added benefit of the GPS data coming through telemetry, okay? But it is considerably more expensive. And they're about the same weight. They're gonna do the same thing, okay? Are you gonna comply? Are you not? I really don't care. I just wanna make sure you guys know there is an option. This thing is considerably cheaper, and it's gonna do the things that you need to do for Big Brother to keep an eye on you, you bad boy, you.
And that one is rechargeable versus having to be powered through.
Which is what I was gonna show them in 10 seconds.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right. She let the cat out of the bag. I was gonna show you with the cable that was here. Where is the cable? There was a cable here. So I have to grab yet another cable. This is USB-A to USB-C, okay? So USB-A to USB-C. USB-C would be an ambidextrous connection. And then all you do is you plug it in and you can recharge it, which is very nice. The reason I like this over the Sky, if you're not gonna be using a telemetry receiver, or you're gonna be using, like, say, a little helicopter that happens to be over the 250 gram limit, not like this, like that instead. You can plop it in there and you can move on with life. That is if you're flying in a non-FRIA environment, and if you're flying in a FRIA environment, then why the heck would you ever, okay? So just to let you know, there is an option that exists, and it's down here, as you can see. This is the adapter, this is the thing, okay? Pull the thing off, turn it on, and then once you stick this into your plane, you wrap it in a lot of aluminum foil just to help it really be grounded to the plane so it works properly. But anyway, we just wanted to show you exactly what that thing is, how small it is, and just to be clear, they claim that it's like 13 grams or some such thing. We don't trust nobody from China.
I thought it was like, well, we'll see.
We're gonna turn it on. You ready? Yep. Watch this. Let's see how much it actually weighs.
Grams, because I also use this.
14 grams.
Oh, China.
Okay, China. Imagine that, China. China's always lying.
Also, the charger does not come with it. You have to provide your own.
This is a separate thing.
It's a separate thing.
We showed this because we use it all the time, which is ironic because it's sort of the opposite of this. But the reason we show you these things is not because we're trying to be nanny state. We don't want you to have to use this. We hate that you have the sort of like obligation to be compliant with stupid rules. But the truth is, stupid rules might keep you out of the pokey. And we all know that we have an affinity for those of you in the pokey watching because our videos are so long. We just don't want you to be one of those people.
Right.
So that being said, if you want to stay out of the pokey, you can do that. I'm pretty sure they're not going to put you in the pokey. I think they'll just fine you.
But no one wants to
who really
find
cares?
Out. Can you close my cupboard door?
Oh, you have a problem with
I hate when you leave the door open.
Cupboards open? Well, okay, so that being said, we're going to put the scale away. We just wanted to talk about batteries. We want to talk about GPS. And really, we discussed this before we started the video, and I was supposed to get the battery charging.
You did it in the wrong order.
And I did it in the wrong order.
Yeah.
As usual, this is Brian Phillips RC at its best. Okay, so we have some small packs, we have some smaller packs, and we have even smaller packs. Let's start with the even smaller ones.
Okay.
Okay. Whoa, that thing is dinky. What is this? This is a China Highline.
Hobbyline.
Hobbyline. 70C G+.
That's like the line of...
This is the line of battery, okay? So it's a 6 amp hour or 6,000 milliamp hour, okay? And this is 6S, okay? So it talks about the watt hours right here, so 133.2. I'm not gonna get my watt meter out, I'm just gonna take their word for it. And the thing I like about this most is when you order these batteries, you can get the right ends that are gonna suit your needs. Now, let's talk about ends right now by opening up a few more batteries because they need to get open at some point, don't they? Mm-hmm. Darn tootin'. The one thing I want you to be aware of is that dimensionally, these are considerably different, but they are 6,000 milliamp hours as opposed to what we've been typically flying in this plane, which would be a 5,000 milliamp hour. Ironically enough, we have 5,000 milliamp hours right here, but you'll notice that the plugs are different. Now, keep in mind, when you're dealing with an XT90 connection, okay, it is not the same as an IC or an EC5, okay? So what that means is that if you have a plane that is equipped, let's just talk about this real quick. And if you weren't already aware of this, if you have a plane that's equipped with an XT90, you can generically put in an IC3 or an an EC3, EC5, right? Mm-hmm. So in this plane, that is gonna make this kind of a non-starter. Okay, so what are we gonna do about that? We're gonna use an adapter, all right? So let's come over here and start this charger right now, because really, to be honest with you, this is another example I could show. See, that won't work either, okay? Wrong type of connection. So what I have to do is I have to come up with an adapter that's gonna allow me to charge this, first of all, and then second of all, that's gonna allow us to plug it into the plane. So we're gonna pause and show that. Okay, so I built these adapters a long time ago. So these are XT90s. So as you can see, the XT90s would go together, polarity stays the same, and then this would be like, you know, what I built, all right? So then this would allow me to go into that plane, and we can also then use this to charge by plugging it in here and then plugging in the balance lead. This will be just a normal dumb battery, if you will, okay? So it's at 3.8 for charge. And I can't see, so I'm gonna move my body a little bit. Okay, so then this is a 5,000 milliamp hour. I have no idea how fast I can technically charge this, but I'm sure I can probably charge it at 10 amps and have no problem on 6S and start. Okay, so it's gonna automatically tell how many S's it is based on the charge. And then obviously you might have to build an adapter, so just be aware that when you order these batteries from China Hobby Line, you can get different ends. Mm-hmm. But if something's out of stock, don't let that stop you from getting the battery you need, because a lot of times you're just one click away from supporting Brian Phillips RC, and then you can get exactly what you want. Okay, so this one started. We're gonna go ahead and jump into the next one. These ones are gonna be a little bit easier. Now, I don't know if you guys already connected the dots. Those are the two that we got, okay? And then we got some smaller ones, but we wanna get this one charging right now as well. So this one's gonna be considerably easier if you're used to using a smart charger, because you have an IC5 or an EC5, which is compatible with an IC5. And guys, I apologize right now. I interchange the two when I'm talking all the time on accident. Okay, so that's plugged in. Now we can click this. We can scroll up instead of 6.6. I'm gonna just do this one at 12. 12 amps, that'd be about 2C, and we're gonna start it. Your camera was not picking that up. What is this? So anyway, that gets us started. We'll see if we have any problems. We see if we have some weird heat issues. I doubt we will, but just keep in mind when you charge these bigger packs, you're gonna need a little bit of wattage behind your chargers. So keep that in mind. And then let's look at the smallest battery. This being, okay, so came with some stickers, and looks like it's got longer leads on these ones. Let's see what we got here. Okay, so it's 2200 milliamp hour, 4S 30C discharge, and that's got an XT60. So that's a pretty standard offering for what we work with. And it does seem a little bit stout for a 4S, but this would be a 4S offering. And you can see it looks like it's pretty high quality. Our understanding is that China Hobby Line is pretty good. They stand behind their products, and they're gonna give you some offerings from some higher C packs. Now these aren't high volt packs, but they are definitely higher C at 70. That's pretty high. We have seen as high as 100, but what we usually see from China and Chinese brands is we see some ridiculous, god awful, like 2 million C ratings, and it's just like you can't trust them because you know they're just a bunch of BS. So we're gonna pause, we'll get these things hooked up charging, and we'll come right back. Okay, so one other thing that's really helpful for you guys to understand is if you're brand new to RC aircraft, whether it be a helicopter or an airplane, and you're following along and you say, what's so special about this particular battery? Well, to be honest with you, we don't know that there is anything particularly special. That's why we're reviewing them right now. We're hoping that they're good. We've heard some good things from our subscriber base, but mostly what's gonna happen is you'll hear me talk about how great the smart batteries are for a variety of reasons. And one of the reasons we like smart batteries is because they have a little chip that's installed here, and that chip will automatically take care of battery management. So you'll notice there's no balance lead on this. There is a balance lead on this. We don't have any plans to fly this today, so we're not gonna charge them. We'll just leave them at storage charge. And that leads me to my next point. This is something that's important for you, that if you're brand new to the hobby and you're just looking for an economy choice, there's nothing wrong with that. But just keep in mind, smart batteries are gonna automatically take care of themselves. They're gonna automatically discharge if you don't use them, unless you turn that feature off, which you can turn that off using either a smart charger or something like this XBC 100 Smart Checker. And all you have to do is basically plug in the battery and you set your auto discharge to a longer time frame or off, okay? Now, with a dumb pack, you're gonna have the added benefit of a little bit less circuitry that's involved, okay? So there's no chip here. It just goes straight in and goes parallel from this red one to this black one. The most negative lead is in parallel here. In this case, you don't have a bounce lead. Now, on some of the older smart packs, the Gen 1, as we refer to them, versus Gen 2, then you're actually gonna have a bounce lead as well as this extra smart lead, that little gray one. You'll notice on this one, there's no bounce lead, but there is still a gray one. That's the data line, okay? So that's gonna carry the data from the smart pack back to the charger so that it can share the telemetry information that it wants to have. Not telemetry, I said that wrong. It's more about the charging and discharge cycles and basically the history of the battery's use so that you can keep track of and monitor the behavior of the battery. And if the battery starts to get bad behavior, then it helps to give you a little bit of a leg up on safety, okay? Now, that being said, we say all that with the understanding that we're not in any state here on Brian Phillips RC. We're not for it. We don't want to propagate it any more than we have to, which is why we just talked about remote ID. But since we're not using this, we're not going to charge it. Why? Because it's not a smart battery. It's not going to auto discharge. And for that reason, I don't want to charge it until I'm ready to use it. Ordinarily, if I had a smart battery, I would just pop it in there. I would say, hey, say I want to charge this battery. I'm just going to show you how this works. Open the right opening, slide the thing in. It starts charging. Boom, you're done. No more thinking about it. It just does it for you, okay? Now, that's not a big deal. When you know how to set up batteries, not a big deal until you got this many batteries to deal with, okay? We have a lot of batteries. It's a little bit more exposure than the average guy. And so we understand that. And so that's part of the reason why I lean so heavily into the smart batteries, because I don't have time to maintain them. I don't have time to think about them. And it's really a pain in the neck.
And sometimes we have to prep them not knowing what we're going to use.
That's right.
And then if we don't use them, then they just auto discharge in a few days and we don't have to worry about it.
We don't have to worry about it. And that's one of the reasons we bring this up, not to badmouth China Hobby Line or to badmouth other brands, your Hobby Kings of the world, your Turnigy's of the world, the graphene packs that they're offering right now, or even stuff from OMP Hobby. We've got tons of different ones from Ready to Fly helicopters.
Yep.
And so we understand that a lot of times it's more about the cost of the battery than it is about the characteristics of the battery, okay? But when it comes to jets, when it comes to twin prop planes that are big like this F7F, which by the way has never really been too mean to our batteries, but just about every dual EDF plane we've had has either really challenged the battery or it's straight up puffed them, okay? And then you end up with batteries that on the third or fourth run start looking like this. That's not ideal, okay? Now, does that mean the battery is straight up garbage? Some of you would probably say yes, but I've been to flight fields. I've seen a lot of people would say that's just fine. Because if it doesn't look like a football, I'm gonna still fly it. So just keep in mind that when you make them look like footballs, the further into the football, going from square to round, the more dangerous they are, okay? Make up your own mind what type of risk you want to take. We're just here to help present the data, and don't kill the messenger because I didn't design lithium polymer packs.
Right. It's just another option.
So this is done charging. I didn't do anything. I mean, it was already charged. It was just in the process of self-discharging probably. So in order to actually fly the Avanti, we have a battery charged and ready to fly, and then we're going to show it in the air. And as you can see, this is charging and this is charging. This one here, for whatever reason, this one is at 3.8 and this one here is at 4. So it's kind of weird. The bigger battery is charging faster. I don't understand why, other than the fact that maybe it came out of the box a little bit more charged. Also, this size makes me nervous because it is a different size and it's considerably larger than our standard, like this. This would be a 100 C5000 that's getting closer and closer to football status. But you can see that's considerably bigger,
yes.
Okay? Smart batteries are sometimes smaller, but then if you look at the size comparison here, we definitely have dimensional differences. This one just likes fast food a little bit more, okay? So just keep in mind when you're comparing batteries, don't just forget, it's not just about the specs. Here's an Arrows pack. I probably left that one charged, and as you can see, it's puffed because of it. The longer you leave your battery to not auto discharge in a smart realm, the more likely it is to puff, okay? And the longer you leave these batteries before you go ahead and discharge them yourself manually or use them, okay? Because you can always just fly them and then they're gone, okay? They're gonna be more likely to puff.
I have a really dumb question.
Yeah.
How do you discharge a battery?
There's a discharge circuit in here, and that's not a dumb question. And any normal person that works with lipos would already know that there's a discharge sequence that you can run on this. So for instance, if I took a battery, let's find one that is not a smart pack. Okay, this is not a smart pack. So we use this one, it's from our Huey. So I'm gonna grab the appropriate adapter. Here's an appropriate adapter that takes us from XT60 to an EC3. So we'll plug that into this smart charger. Camera crew is gonna go to my right side. Now I'm gonna plug it in just like I wanna charge it. And as you can see, it's not fully charged, but it's close. Then I can go up here to task, and then I can go to discharge or storage. Okay, so I can go to storage, and then I can scroll down and I can hit start.
Oh.
Okay. Then it sounds like a Facebook data center.
Right.
Okay. So you see that? Charge rate.
Right.
Minus 0.9. Huh. Okay. So now I'm going to quickly hit play. I'm going to stop. I'm going to hold play, and then I'm going to scroll back to storage. I'm going to highlight it, and I'm going to go back to charge. And then I'm going to waste some more energy, which is why we have solar system on our house. And all joking aside, I'm still waiting for some smart, awesome person to come up with a bank that we can plug all these smart or unsmart batteries into a bank of various different types, a matrix of different plugs, and you can plug in a given battery and they would be optically isolated somehow, so they'll be protected from one another, fused between each other, and all that stuff. So if you have one you plug in wrong, you get a polarity backward, it'd be safe. But then you could use that battery power to actually run your house.
Something.
Because we have enough to do that. I mean, it just have to be like a small house. Okay, so just to be clear, the remote ID option exists. It's small, it's easy. It can be used in seconds. Literally, the app has about 10 data fields, and you can register it with the FAA if you want to be compliant. And then you basically turn it on, put it in your plane when you're getting ready to fly. And really what I tell people is the best thing you can do is go to the flight field. If your flight field is not a flight field, if it's not a FRIA, which your flight field is very likely to be a FRIA, then you just grab one of these, like if you're flying at the local high school, you know, on the weekend or whatever, and you're not like out there trying to fly and buzz the marching band or some stupid thing like that, then you can put in your remote ID module. You can make sure you're following whatever their stupid ordinances are, and then just do your thing, and then you'll be compliant, okay? So we have a beep over here. This one's now charged. Yay, I'm glad we wasted energy putting it in and back out. But I mean, that is something that we like to do. So anyway. All right, when we come back, the batteries will be charged and we're gonna fly the Avanti. In fact, you probably already saw it fly. And so we appreciate you guys being here with us. We like to show the whole situation. Sometimes we put them out of order so that you can kind of wrap your mind around the things that we're interested in and whether or not it's worth you having the same level of interest. I am gonna unplug this because the Facebook data center is very distracting. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, the cooling fans run a little bit more on these chargers when you have multiple batteries going and when you're really going fast with the charging, okay? And by the way, if I haven't mentioned this recently, having a number of smart chargers is very nice. And I'm gonna tell you the one I always go to is right here, the S2200. It's not because it's just in the middle, although that's one big factor. It happens to have 200 watts, 2 channels, and it's all standalone, which is nice. We have way nicer chargers here, okay? We almost never use them. Why? Because first of all, that is hundreds and hundreds of dollars worth of chargers. This is a couple $100s worth of charger too. But this is very compact, very easy. There's a toggle switch right here. I could turn it off in the flick of a switch. I don't have to reach and unplug a plug, which is annoying to me, which is one of the only reasons I don't push the S155 more, because this will do up to 4S, and it's got that nice connector set up there, okay? So if you guys wanna know what I like to use and what I really use, look no further than the S2200. Now, there's also an S1400 if you want a similar price point, but like more wattage behind one channel, because you only plan to charge one battery at one time. The S1400 is gonna be 400 watts on one channel. That's a lot of power, okay? You're probably not gonna need that in a 6S configuration, but the truth is, we can put these things in series and we could get all sorts of power going.
I don't know if those are even available anymore.
Oh yeah, they did. They went to a small, no, they went to a 15, they have a 15 amp now instead of a 30 amp. But we have twin 30s, so we can do 60 amps at once, which is crazy. And yes, there are people that charge that fast. I'm just not one of them yet. Yet being the key. All right, so hopefully we answered all your questions. If you want to help support Brian Phillips RC, check out things like this. We have links, so you can buy this. I think this is Amazon or something like that.
Yeah, it is.
But by the way, guys, if you see something on Amazon and you like it and you want to support Brian Phillips RC, follow our master link. Get over there, buy those diapers,
groceries,
buy that Coca-Cola or that
computer,
cat food, whatever it happens
TV.
to be. 700 wireless routers or whatever it is that happened at one time.
Thank you.
There was some IT person bought like a bunch of stuff for their work, you could tell, and they bought it with our links, which is awesome. So it really does help because it doesn't cost you any more, but what will happen is then we'll make small commissions on those transactions. And generally speaking, we're gonna be driving you there because we'll help close the deal, we'll help bring interest to it, whatever. But with Amazon, it's kind of like whatever. Amazon is a different market, let's just say. But we put this stuff on there because we know you might actually need that for your everyday life. And we're gonna make like 10 bucks on it over the course of like 3 years. So it's really not that big a deal.
Yeah.
But we're just trying to improve your odds at hobby being interesting. This is the other thing we've been showing recently. It's a breathalyzer. Oh wait, no, oh, wrong tool. No, this is gonna basically, you can do min-max. Did it go to min-max? That's how bad of a blowhard I am.
Full of hot air.
Yeah, so this thing's nice because I don't like using a wind meter most of the time, but sometimes it's nice for our show to be able to demonstrate how fast the wind is blowing. But then it's always dangerously lower than I thought it was gonna be. And so it's really hard for me to get the measurement from like 30, 40, 100 feet in the air where the real wind is happening. Our issue here is the turbulation over and amongst the rolling hills and the trees and the buildings and things like that. So sometimes a little bit deceiving. It is very windy today. So we've been showing this type of item, or like screwdrivers, things like that, China glue, things like that. We have a place called BrianPhillipsRC.com, which is our website. And you can go to bprc.me, it takes you to the same place if you don't know how to spell Brian or Phillips. So bprc.me, okay? That's our short domain that takes you to our main website, okay? Mm-hmm. We have all this sort of stuff in the supplies tab, okay? So same thing with the remote ID modules?
Yep, the remote ID is there, that's there, the wind meter's there.
Yeah,
and then, yeah,
and
all
other
the
like
tools.
Screwdrivers. People ask us all the time about these screwdrivers. They're actually usually gifts from people that watch us struggle through a process a few times.
Yep.
And same thing with like, the calipers that we use on a routine basis. These calipers, these digital calipers, somebody gave these to us as a gift. It was super nice, which is ironic because I have the literal exact set down in the basement.
Yep.
And it's a good thing they gave them to me because I'm too lazy to go downstairs and get them. So thanks guys for being longtime supporters, especially if you're a monthly supporter on Patreon or PayPal, Patreon or YouTube members. Mm-hmm. We really appreciate you doing that. PayPal is one-time support, and then YouTube Super Thanks is one-time support. So misspoke there for a second. We still firmly believe the best way to support us is to buy batteries, things like this, airplanes like that, or any of the, hundreds of other products that we've done over the years. We've done so many different airplanes, so many different quads, VTOLs, that it's actually kind of hard for me to remember what we've done. And there are times that I forget what we've done, which sounds ridiculous, but it's totally true. But generally speaking, we want to have a wide berth of information as to what's going on in the hobby world. So we now have both batteries done. That stands to reason.
Yep.
Because we started this one just a little bit before that one.
Oh,
why is this one still going? It's so weird. Maybe we didn't have as much juice left. Because look, we're at 10 amps now on this one. But on this one, we're at 0.8 amps. And now it's just balancing now. okay? So I can actually stop this. See, it stopped. Now I can go back over here, and this one is just bringing the voltages up. So you want to look for big disparities in voltage. That's usually a telltale sign of crap batteries, okay? So as you can see, these are both pretty good. Now I'm gonna unplug this battery. And probably what we'll do is we'll go ahead and go fly this. That is, if we can fit it in. So now that you've seen the entire start to finish process of getting a China hobby line pack and whether or not it's gonna work for you, we hope that you'll make a decision to buy one once in a while. These things are considerably cheaper in terms of apples to apples comparisons to the Spectrum packs. That does not necessarily mean that they're gonna be better. And so when we do a video like this, we don't do a lot of side-by-sides, but when we do side-by-sides, we do it because we really care about you, the audience, and not so much one particular manufacturer over another. If you guys take to something that you like and you don't see us doing it, let us know. You have in the past, and unless it's Motion RC, because they, for whatever reason, just can't get past themselves, we're happy to consider working with just about anybody.
Yeah.
And at this point, we do work with just about everybody. With the well, that's not true. There are some companies we don't work with because a lot of times these companies are a little bit too small, or they're maybe reaching a slightly different audience. We do reach a lot of new RC enthusiasts, which is one of our main market mainstays, is people that are getting back to the hobby. Okay, so let's see how this fits. You guys have already seen this flight, I realize, but I'm gonna just show you how it fits. And that definitely holds the nose down, which is nice. It's also gonna make it more nose heavy, so we might have to be a little bit careful on how we do this because this might be a little bit too nose heavy. Let's find out, because this was sized for the 5000 6S in this position. Oh, so what I was saying was, if we work with a company that doesn't quite have the market, and they don't need to market through Brian Phillips RC, then it may not make sense. Motion RC is not that company. All right, so we're gonna turn on our transmitter. We're gonna just get everything safe so that we don't have any issues with this trying to take off from our counter and running into this beautiful F7F. And you also notice when you put 1,000,000 models on your NX10, it eventually gets a little bit more boggy. Don't be surprised, okay? I'm gonna cancel them back, scroll down to the Avanti. This is the 18th anniversary 90mm Avanti from FMS. It's a beautiful plane, has amazing flight characteristics, especially when you set it up with AS3X Plus like we did. If you're curious to see more about this plane, we have an unboxed build radio setup, and we have maiden flights, all of which were in heavier wind, just like today, and this thing does penetrate nicely, okay? So as you know, you've already seen this part of the video, and we try to do this when we have a video where we need to showcase the way that a product works. We like to show the flight at the beginning because that's what people find interest in. Mm-hmm. And then if they find that they want to learn more, they can go to the end of the video. Okay, all right, so checking this out real quick. Because we're in here, we can go ahead and do a voltage alarm, and we'll go ahead and use the Predator one. Predator, of course, is a branded offering that FMS offers. So this would be consistent with the Avanti. So like if you're ordering the Avanti, you could get one of these Predator ESCs. And then we always tell people, if you don't have China glue or you're short on China glue, get some China glue while you're there. And no, that's not me making fun of FMS or China. This stuff is awesome. I really like this glue. It's one of my favorites. It's a mucilage type product. It's similar to what you would get with foam to foam. And again, I have no problem with foam to foam. It's also good. I do tend to slightly prefer the FMS China glue because it's a little bit more tacky right off the bat. Whereas with the foam to foam, when you let it cook off, it sometimes takes a little bit longer for it to get tacked up because it's like a contact cement. So you put it on this side and you put it on this side and you stick them and they will basically not come apart without ripping the substrate apart, okay? All right, so now that this battery is in the hole, we got the transmitter turned on. I'm gonna get these straps just a little bit closer. I do like how short this is. I thought that was gonna be terrible, but it's actually great so far. Okay, so now voltage alarm. Negative is on the far side. Okay, so we're gonna set this to alarm at, normally if I was trying to alarm for an EDF, I would want it to alarm at a little bit more, but 3.3 is gonna be like a, hey, get to the ground, like, dude, you're gonna crash otherwise.
Oh, really?
Well, yeah, because do we have telemetry on this? Yes, we do. Okay. So because we have telemetry, we're just gonna go with 3.3. Okay. Because look, we have telemetry in here, so we don't actually even need that, but we're gonna do it anyway. Okay, so camera crew and I are gonna be safe by checking that our throttle cut is on, our master gain is in the center, flaps, gear, all the different switches are in the correct positions. Forward thrust is turned on because this does have a reverse thrust. And obviously the lead is long enough on this battery, but the lead on this plane is very short. Okay, so plugged in, ready to rock and roll, except I want to check the CG, which I normally wouldn't have to do because we've already worked out the CG on most of these planes. Now, real quick, gear, make sure your gear cycle. It's always a good idea to do that while you're on your plane stand if you've got a plane stand involved. Get this down to the square edge. See that? And you can hear the AS3X Plus is going nuts on the nose gear because that's what happens. You can turn up the gains on the nose gear, which is so nice. Now, I don't have that super tight, but I'm just lining it up just a little bit past where we would normally be, and I want to see what type of tail heaviness behavior we end up with. Also, I want to point out the fact that I was using some forceps to pull that strap. So that's kind of a big deal for some people. You may not have forceps out in the field, but because this battery is so much wider, you're gonna have an issue there potentially. I can't see it, Megan.
You're almost, that's the front hole. Okay.
So we'll look good on the front hole, we're nose heavy. On the back hole, we're close. I said that backwards. I'm gonna go just a little bit further back, folks. Let's show the people at home real quick. So let's go back to the first strap.
Strap, basically.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna tighten this up, pull this down real tight. Then I'm gonna slip this down just a little bit, just pushing on the hard plastic of that little strap retainer clippy thing. That's a technical term. Throttle cuts on, double check every time. Flip this thing over. Can you line me up? Is that it?
No. You gotta go up. All right,
just move my finger until it's on it.
That's the front hole.
Okay, so on the front hole, it's nose heavy. On the back hole, it's nose heavy. So we're still nose heavy, but not as much as I thought we were gonna be. So here's the trade-off, guys. This is a much bigger battery. We got plenty of length on all our leads. I don't like to come out of this altogether, so I'm gonna go back another half again, strap as much, okay? Then let's see if this works. Okay, and you can hear that AS3X Plus is like screaming at me right now. Okay, am I on it there?
No.
Where is it?
You're not even close. Up. There.
Okay, so that's pretty dang good on the front hole, and on the back hole, we're still nose heavy. So I think that's where I'm gonna be comfortable. I'm gonna go back, I'll go back to the strap. Because look, that's hitting the bulkhead here now. Right there. Well, it's not a bulkhead, but it's like where the air inlets.
Oh, yeah.
So it's pinched in there as far back as you can get it without modifying it. Now you could modify this if you wanted, but that's where I'm gonna put it, okay? In fact, I'm just gonna mark it right now. You wanna know why? Because I don't really have any doubt this is gonna work. So I'm just gonna mark it blue and blue. And this is gonna get its own line. And that's gonna be 6,000 milliamp hour, okay? And that's a 70C. All right, and then the black one, you see how the black one's marked there, camera crew? I'm gonna go ahead and mark this here, okay? So it's gonna go like this. And that's usually how I mark it, is something like this, so that I can keep quick delimitation of the direction that everything was laid out. And I wanna make sure the battery lead has to go that way, so I use a little arrow like that. Yeah. That indicates what direction our battery lead is gonna come out. Now it does look like this other battery is done, and it's about 4.2 per channel. So we're gonna go ahead and unplug that, unplug this, and we'll unplug that. Power off our charger rather. And I just wanna show you one thing about this. If you ever have one of these batteries, adapters, and you are feeling maybe not enough resistance, you can open up those pedals by sticking a Phillips screwdriver into the pedals, okay? You see how that opened them up? And then what's gonna happen is you'll get a lot better pressure, a lot better bite. Feels like I could do a little bit more, but that's gonna be a lot better than what it was. Okay, so that'll be our other flight. So we'll try with 6 and we'll try with 5,000, both 70C ratings. And yes, when you look, make sure you get the right plug because they will have different plug styles. And if you don't have the right type of plug, no big deal. Just look for an adapter or build an adapter, okay? Also, if you guys ever need supplies and you want to build connectors, I buy all my stuff at Hobby King, have for years, and we do actually have a link to Hobby King. Camera crew will have that on the supplies page for ends and things like that, so you can just follow the master link and buy those at your convenience. All right, so without further ado, hopefully we answered your question. That's so eager, I love it. And we're gonna fly this right now. If you guys have additional questions that we haven't answered about China Highline packs and whether or not they're right for you, leave them in the comments below. Hopefully by the time we see your comments, we'll be able to answer some more questions. And then if we can't answer them, our faithful audience will probably chime in and help you out as well. Because at the end of the day, we don't always claim to know everything, but we wanna bring you the latest and greatest that we see. And the first time that we run into stuff, it's not necessarily the latest and greatest. In this case, they've been around for a while, but we just haven't actually had a first opportunity to look at them. So if you have questions, leave them down below. We'll do the best we can to bring you the latest and greatest as it does come out though. And also, I just want to take this moment to say, I'm not trying to poo-poo smart because I like smart batteries a lot. But I still think, and I firmly believe, that there's a place for people that need to get a little bit less expensive batteries and people that want higher C packs, as well as high volt packs, which we don't have exposure with because we haven't worked out a deal with anybody. When we do, we'll probably throw those into some jets here and there so you can see what type of performance boost you get. A lot of the guys that are doing jets are doing high volt packs. Look at that over there. See that bird? I think it's a hawk.
Yeah,
that is so cool.
Right on the edge there. I
saw that thing flying. So anyway, guys, nature time with Brian Phillips before I even get outside. All right, thanks for watching. So much more right around the corner. If you have questions, we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Also, if you're on Patreon, special thanks. There it is again. Oh, that was so cool. It went right by. Okay, all right, that's all you get for today. Stay tuned. So much more right around the corner. Thanks for watching.